I'm Eric Lindstrom, Executive Director of Farm Animal Rights Movement. Thank you for joining me today's session. I'm excited to talk to you about 5 points I wanted to cover in today's event. So as I wait for more attendees to come in, I want to say thank you so much to Lisa De Crescente, who's our Director of Special Projects. She's the one who's been lining up a lot of these sessions, info sessions, webinars, which I'll be talking a lot about. We've been doing a lot of live streaming discussions, support groups, and other special events, which Lisa's been responsible for. So I want to thank her for arranging this as well, an opportunity for you to meet me and for me to talk to you about all of what Farm does. So there are 5 things I want to cover, one of which is my own personal story. What has led me here today as Executive Director of Farm Animal Rights Movement, and all of the sort of backstory on my books, a little bit about how I went vegan overnight, all of that. And then the second thing I want to cover is Farm's programming. As you may know, Farm has been around for 45 years. We just celebrated our 45th year in 2021. And a lot of our programs go back to 1976. And so a lot of these programs you'll be familiar with, some of them maybe not so much, but they've been around for decades. And I'm very honored to be continuing the tradition that was started 45 years ago. So I want to talk about farm programming. I want to talk about farm special projects. So in addition to these online sessions, which have mostly been in response to the pandemic, no in-person events, we've been doing a lot of online events. And it's been very exciting to see how many different people we can reach out to, how many people we can reach through the messaging attached to Farm's mission. The 4th thing I want to cover is my celebration roast. So if you're tuning in for that, you're going to have to wait a little while, but I'm hoping it's going to be interesting to you until we get there. But every year I make this celebration roast. That's the centerpiece of our cruelty-free vegan Thanksgiving dinner. And I want to show you how to make that. It was a recipe I got from Amy Hamlin from the Coalition for Healthy School Foods. And she's a wonderful teacher on how to learn how to make this incredible celebration roast. So that's coming up. And then finally, the 5th thing I want to cover is the book giveaway. I want to give away a copy of my first book, The Skeptical Vegan. I also want to mention the Great Life Cookbook. I'll talk about that in a moment. It's one of our favorite books here in our house, our vegan and gluten-free house. And then I want to open it up for questions in the last 15 minutes. So thank you for that, allowing me that introduction. I do want to jump into, as I said, my own story. How did I get to where I am now? So the way I tell it in The Skeptical Vegan, I went vegan overnight. I went from 100% omnivore with strong leanings toward carnivore to vegan overnight in January 2012. So it's coming up on 10 years. And part of that journey, a part of that decision to go vegan was prompted by my wife, Jen, who was vegetarian and in a lactose intolerance denial syndrome is what I call it. She dairy did not agree with her. And so for her, it was very easy from someone who's got celiac, someone who's vegetarian, someone who already can't consume dairy to go vegan. I, on the other hand, was very carnivorous. In fact, I once ate 68 chicken wings in one sitting. So you're talking about somebody who was the last person ever to go vegan. And I did it as a support for her, as a little challenge for myself. I felt it was a point in my life where maybe I needed to address my health and eat better. And so I went vegan based on Colleen Patrick Goudreau's 30-Day Vegan Challenge book, which is a wonderful book. I love Colleen. So I did it for 30 days. And after the 30th day, I said to Jen, well, what are we going to do now? We both made it. Let's keep this interesting and make it a bet. And so now that's the bet I still refuse to lose. During that time, I started a blog called The Meaty Vegan. And it was meant to be the blog where I talked about how I wasn't going to be able to stay vegan. It was all of the trials and tribulations of going vegan, the challenges, and ultimately it was going to end with me going back to my carnivorous ways. Well, as it turned out, as I said, this was a bet I refused to lose. And the blog itself sort of grew onto became its own thing, which was then discovered by a publisher in New York City. And so still there, you can still go to meatyvegan.com. It'll bring you to my old blog, but the publisher was charged with finding the next Thug Kitchen, which was a very popular cookbook that was selling out at the time. And the book had swear words in it. It was very sort of, masculine in its writing. And they wanted a book that was meaty and about veganism. So she literally sat down at her computer and typed in meaty vegan and found my blog. And so she read my stories, read some of my parodies, some of my columns, and emailed me and offered me a book deal. And so that became The Skeptical Vegan, which is now in its second printing. Did very well, of course, when it first came out. And now some of this content, actually, the book's only going on to 5 years old, 4 years old. So much of this content is already outdated. So much has changed since I first went vegan. I'm going to give away a copy of this at the end of the session, so stick around for that. So here I am. I was working for a third wave coffee company at the time as their director of marketing. And I finally decided I'm all in with veganism. I went 100% vegan, got rid of all of our silk, our wool, our leather in our household, switched all of our products over to cruelty-free products. If I was going to do this, I was going to do this 100%. So here I am, this hardcore vegan at that point, and working for a coffee company. And I decided to start my own advertising and marketing firm. My background is in marketing. I owned an advertising agency in upstate New York for years. And so I decided to start this company called Think Tank Creative, which was an advertising, marketing, and PR firm that would only handle vegan and environmentally conscious companies. And so one of my first clients was Miyoko's, which I'm sure if you're vegan, you're very familiar with her products, her amazing cheeses, vegan cheeses. So I got Miyoko's. I was doing work with T. Colin Campbell. I was doing work with Plant Pure Nation with their Kickstarter campaign. I had all of these amazing clients that I was able to help that were aligned with my own ethics. This was finally my opportunity to take my veganism and tie it into my marketing background and my business background and all of these things that, I was passionate about, that I was really interested in. So as I was prospecting one day, looking for a new client, up came an ad for the director of marketing for Farm Animal Rights Movement. And it was just one of those moments where everything was coming into alignment for me. It was taking me more time to prospect for new clients than it was for actually doing the work. And so when I saw this ad come up and I read what they had asked and needed done for the animals, I immediately applied for the position. And through, your usual competitive 4 or 5 interview process, which I had with the then director of operations and Alex Hershaft, the president of Farm, I ultimately ended up getting the job, which I consider the turning point for my entire career, because here is someone who's, again, had a background of not vegan. Here's someone who went vegan overnight. And here's someone who's now able to take all of what he's expert in, all of what he enjoys doing anyway, and applying it to the animals. A lot of my background had been in the whole foods plant-based world, again, with T. Colin Campbell, Nelson Campbell, Tom Campbell, all the Campbells, Dr. Greger, Esselstyn, all of those guys. I did this marketing for this Remedy Food Project, which is a Benji Kurtz project. So all of this was about the whole foods plant-based world. And here I was finally able to apply it to animals. So it was very exciting for me to have this opportunity to tie all of this together and work in animal rights. And so coming on board at Farm at the time, we had some 15 or so employees scattered around the country. We had an office in Portland. We had, of course, the headquarters down in Bethesda, Maryland. I'm upstate New York in Ithaca. And I was finding myself able to manage all of the programs for Farm at the time. I had become more than just a director of marketing, as I'd become someone who was working closely with every team member on all of the programs that Farm had done at the time, and some of them still exist. And so I was finding definitely my groove in my career to be able to tie together my love of marketing and promotion and business with animal rights. So 1 year in 2017, beginning of 2017, Alex Hershaft had returned from a trip in California and presented me with this idea of handing over a lot of his babies to then Compassion Over Killing, today Animal Outlook. And so 5 of the main Farm programs and 6 Farm staff members, pretty much overnight, between the end of December, beginning of January 2017, became employees of Compassion Over Killing. And so then it became my job as the director of marketing for Animal Outlook to thread the Farm programs into what Animal Outlook does in terms of their undercover investigation work, DC Veg Fest, Veg Week, all of the things that Animal Outlook's known for. Farm's programs were now coming in and being integrated into their work. So we became this massive organization just doing incredible work for the animals every year. I'm very proud of all of what I had done at Animal Outlook, including helping with the rebranding after 25 years, the new logo, the new name. I was part of spearheading that project. And I was very, very happy to be at Animal Outlook until ultimately one day I get a email from Alex Hershaft, who I hadn't heard from in quite some time, letting me know there's an executive director position open. So between Alex and the board of directors of Farm, I was coaxed, I was convinced, I was handed the opportunity to take the nation's oldest animal rights group to the next level. And so I started back in August, a year ago, August. So I'm coming up on my 15th month at Farm. And during that time, between the work I had already been doing at Farm, the programs that Farm is known for, and the Farm team, the people on board who I work with every day, I'm very fortunate to work with, we are bringing all of this up to another level. So I'm very excited to, again, talk to you today about Farm's programs, Farm's special projects, and then on into the celebration roast. So I have my notes up here. I just want to take a quick glance to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I do want to mention really quickly, as I'm sure you're aware, all of this work, as we are a 501c3, is made possible by your generosity, whether it's your support as being a friend of Farm or financial support. You can make a donation at farmusa.org/2021. And if your donation happens to be more than $200, you'll see when you get to that page, we will send you a copy of this hardcover edition of the Great Life Cookbook, which was written by two friends of mine, Priscilla Timberlake and Louis Friedman. Louis is a Whole Foods plant-based instructor for E. Cornell's T. Colin Campbell class. This book is incredible. I love it. We refer to it all the time. I have a number of the recipes memorized, but we would love to send you a copy of that as a thank you gift. So on to Farm's programming. Let me get one more sip of water. As I'm sure you're aware, I hope you're aware, Farm for 40 years has hosted the Animal Rights National Conference. The 2020 conference was canceled due to the pandemic and some situations in Portland that made it impossible to host an in-person event. The last minute, a virtual event was trying to be pulled together and it just didn't happen. In 2021, we tried to make it happen for circumstances beyond our control. We decided again not to host in 2021. We are looking forward to hopefully having a 2022 in-person conference. It most likely would be in DC. We're not sure. We're talking about it right now. But the Animal Rights National Conference is the world's largest conference dedicated to animal rights. It has inspired thousands and thousands of people through the years, through info sessions, through talks, through workshops, networking, trade show, et cetera. It would toggle from coast to coast. So it's been in Los Angeles and DC. It would have been in Portland, would have been the first time in Portland, which would, of course, be an amazing city. It's very vegan friendly. But this year, if there is a 2022, we're talking about it right now, it will be in DC. So there's the Animal Rights National Conference. Some of the other programs that Farm is known for is Meat Out, which was started in 1985. And it's one day of asking people to abstain from eating meat on March 20th, the first day of spring. And so this past year was actually a pretty significant advance in the Meat Out program, as the governor of Colorado, Governor Polis, declared Meat Out Day in the state of Colorado. So the entire state said, hey, let's just give up meat for one day. And all the ranchers out west didn't like this at all. So it started in Colorado and moved to Nebraska and New Mexico and up to Idaho and all of these other Western states that are known for ranching were hosting meat-ins, which meant they were supposedly going to combat this meat out by having people eat more meat, not realizing at the time they were actually doing more to promote our messaging than ever before. Headlines from literally around the world were related to Meat Out about how we, as Farm, started this program and will continue to run this program for years to come, asking people to abstain from eating meat the one day, also asking municipalities and government officials to declare Meat Out Day. So that was Meat Out this year. We also celebrate Vegan Earth Day, which this year we have a very special announcement I'm going to talk about under special projects, but Vegan Earth Day is our opportunity to tie in, of course, climate to diet. letting people know, making them aware, reminding them that their food choices are having an impact not only on their own personal health, but on the planet and, of course, ultimately the animals. October 2nd every year, which is Gandhi's birthday, we observe World Day for Farmed Animals. That was started in 1983. And so, again, these are programs that have been around for more than 4 decades. And I feel, again, so honored to be the person who's helping our team here at Farm to promote these incredible programs for the animals. So World Day for Farmed Animals is a resource. It's a moment for events to be hosted, again, worldwide, observing farmed animals, understanding their plight and drawing attention to what's happening in animal agriculture. And so part of that is the Fast for Slaughter, which happens every October 2nd, a day of fasting, as well as I said, all of those events for World Day for Farmed Animals. In November, which is where we are right now, we celebrate Gentle Thanksgiving, which is a week from today. I hope you're all ready. And Compassionate Holidays, which runs through basically October through New Year's Eve. So these are tips and recipes, ideas, opportunities, events, ways in which we're encouraging people to celebrate their holidays compassionately. So to think about their food choices, to understand that most of the sides that they're eating are primarily plant-based anyway. And if they're not, they could easily be converted to plant-based. So Compassionate Holidays is another big thing that Farm's been responsible for. And then this past year, we started a change.org petition to encourage Food Network to launch a 100% vegan cooking show. That petition's received somewhere around 28,000 signatures so far. And we've been in touch with the headquarters in New York City of the Food Network. So we're really hoping to get some traction there, at least draw some more attention to the fact that it's time that the Food Network steps up and actually offers to its cable network. I know there's a lot of other programming right now, thankfully, for the vegan community for plant-based recipes and plant-based cooking shows. But I really, Farm would really love to see one on the Food Network. We have started to fuel some organizations. We call it our Fueled by Farm program, one of which is the Animal Activism Mentorship Program, AAM. So AAM is just an incredible organization. You can find them, just Google Animal Activism Mentorship and their website will come up. AAM is an incredible organization, very dedicated, very committed to the animals, who are structuring a mentor-mentee program where mentors can help mentees learn the importance of activism and what activism is about and how they can stand up for animals. And it's really just incredible. I mean, within the first couple of weeks of working with AAM, to see the flood of images from, in this case, they were doing a demonstration and protest in Chicago, to see the images coming in and knowing that Farm they had a hand in helping this organization with their outreach, because again, so much has been sort of insulated for almost 2 years with the pandemic that these in-person on-street activities have slowed down, but it's not slowing down AAM. They're just an incredible group of people who we're very proud to have as part of Farm now. Another program that we have is Ditch Dairy. We have a website, ditchdairy.com, where we encourage and let people know the importance of taking dairy out of their diet. If you ask actually T. Colin Campbell, he'll tell you the first thing you should give up is dairy. And people are like, well, I never drink milk, and then forget that they also eat cheese and yogurt and ice cream. So yeah, cut dairy out of your diet, and you can go to ditchdairy.com to find out more information on why and how. We tied that into February Dairy, which is a program started by the dairy industry to celebrate the dairy industry in the month of February. But vegans, being as clever as they are, have sort of co-opted that phrase and turned it into the opposite. And so I'm not even sure if February Dairy exists anymore for the dairy industry. It's primarily there for vegans to talk about the month of February as an excellent opportunity to give up dairy, to explore all of the incredible plant-based options that are out there. Things have come so far in such a short period of time. So that sort of that covers mostly the farm programming. We do an Ed Letters program, which is we reach through reps around the country, millions of readers every month. with a letter to the editor. In fact, our letter to the editor this month relates to Thanksgiving, Compassionate Thanksgiving, and then the plight of the turkey. And we're already getting phone calls from editors around the country who are publishing the letter. So sometimes if you see a letter and it talks about a plant-based diet, or talks about veganism, or talks about animal rights, it may have come through Farm. So that's sort of the main programs for Farm. And then, as I said, I really wanted to cover special projects. Before I get into there, I do want to mention, I see some of you have already started to add some questions in the Q&A box. In the bottom of your browser window, or wherever you're looking at this, there are two boxes. One's a chat. You can type in there if you want to say hello. There's another one for Q&A. And so if you load that up with questions now, when we get to the point in the program around quarter of, we will be able to answer your questions. So I look forward to reading those and hopefully answering most of them when we get to that point. So our special projects, one thing that we're just about to launch, it's live, you can check it out, you can get yourself a preview of it, is our Vegan Videos program, a search tool that was created. It's a proprietary search engine, and you can reach it at askveli.com. And if you go to askveli.com, you're going to find a very robust search bar across the top, a way in which you can watch all of the best of, all of the most available, all of the videos on YouTube that are only related to veganism and animal rights. So this is that ultimate filter to allow you to see the best of those videos. So go to askveli.com, check it out. Let us know what you think. There's a contact information on there. So if you're on the website and you have some ideas or some things that you want to have us add, by all means, let us know. Another program that's about to launch used to be referred to mostly as our online views program. That's how it was sort of billed the first time I was at Farm. It's now being called Vegan Vision. We're about to roll out a series of videos across social media. So if you're familiar with old Farm programming, it was called 10 Billion Lives. And the 10 Billion Lives tour would go from college campus to college campus with kiosks that would show a 4-minute video for $1. And so you may have actually, some people I know actually went vegan because of this program. So it would go from college campus to college campus. It would then tie into the Warped Tour, which was a tour that would cross across the country. And again, allow people to watch these videos for $1. So that program ended up becoming offshoot known as Online Views on the Farm end. And so our Online Views program would show the video online, which was just a natural progression because so many people watch videos online anyway. And so our Online Views program is becoming, it's called Vegan Vision. And so in the next 2 months, we're going to be rolling out a series of 5 different videos, 4 videos that show sequentially why you should go vegan, 1 video showing you the entire story. And those are going to run in parallel across social media, soliciting pledges for people to adapt a vegan diet. We're going to be we're partnering with Challenge 22 on that. So we're excited to roll that out. Last year, we did a screening of Gunda, which was that amazing black and white documentary, heartbreaking. If you haven't seen it, I might have just spoiled it by saying heartbreaking, but it's just a beautifully shot film, executive produced by Joaquin Phoenix. We held an online screening for that. It was sold out. It was just an incredible event. Our Charm program, if you go to our website at farmusa.org, you can click on what we do. And there's one flyout that'll show you all the programs that I just talked about, but the rest of that menu drop down will show you some of these special projects that Farm's been working on. And the Charm program is celebrating heroes in the animal rights movement. That's an acronym. I happen to love acronyms. And so every month we profile a lesser known, somewhat unsung hero. This month is Seth Tibbett, a good friend of ours, the founder of Tofurkey, also perfect for the holidays. But every month we celebrate one of these heroes in the movement with a story about their lives, about their programs, about what they're doing. And so we're very proud of having a full year's now. It just started in January, full year's worth of articles about very special vegans, very special people in the movement. If you have any ideas on the bottom of each post, you can enter some information or email us for ideas on people that you think we should profile. Vegandale is a series of events that's happened for a few years now in multiple cities. We were lucky enough to partner with Snack Religion, which is an incredible vegan company in Portland, Oregon. We had little flags that were in every sandwich at Vegandale. Again, encouraging people to tie in diet, tie in plant-based foods with our mission, our animal rights mission. Some of these online events, like this one that I'm hosting right now, I've mentioned at the beginning of the program. We've had Deborah Demare, who's a vegan design expert. She did an amazing event for us, very well attended, and continues to send us new videos to post about making your whole entire life, your environment around you, cruelty-free textures, furniture, things that are sourced ethically. So Deborah Demare just does an amazing job. She's a wonderful friend of Farm. April Lang does monthly support groups called Monthly Support Group for Activists. It started with her Interconnected event. So she did a full hour event for Farm that has since branched into a monthly support group for those who perhaps suffer from compassion fatigue. If you're in the movement, if you're an activist, if you're someone who's thinking about becoming an activist, you know that you're carrying the burden of your own life, but you're also carrying the burden of all the animals that you're standing up for. And so this event is a monthly, very intimate session facilitated by April Lang, and you can find that on our website as well. But we're very happy to have her as part of our team, offering support to those who do the hard work for us, who do the hard work for the animals. We did a whole series with James Wildman. He's from AARF. And we did monthly sessions, I think weekly sessions. I forget which it is. There's still remnants of it on the website if you want to check it out. But he's known for his 100 Ways to Go Vegan video. He just did an exceptional job of engaging audiences with all of his October series. So very happy to have James as part of this as well. In December, so coming up now, we're doing a Beyond Investing event. That's on December 7th. Again, check our website out. You can register for that. We're very excited to have Beyond Investing talking about how to put your money into vegan, ethical companies and make your money work for itself. So Beyond Investing is a great partner for us, and we're very much looking forward to that December event. And then way ahead in the future, in February, we're going to have a talk with Emma Hurst. She's an Australian politician, psychologist, and vegan bodybuilder. So that should be interesting. There'll be more of that as we finish up that session or series. And I want to again thank Lisa De Crescente, who's our Director of Special Projects, who's been coordinating all of this. She's done an outstanding job of getting these individuals available online to answer questions, to inspire people. And yeah, we really are excited that we can bring these to our followers. Real quick side note, of course, Farm's on all the social media channels. If you don't follow us, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think I covered most of them. Please follow Farm, suggest Farm to friends. We have an amazing director of marketing who does our social media management, Allie Hinton. And so she's constantly making sure all of our information is mission centric. All of the things that we post are as engaging as it can be across all of the channels. So please follow us on the usual social media channels. Now I want to talk quickly about this Planet Bethesda event, which is happening. Well, we're hoping it's going to happen. We've gotten all of the pieces in place. You can go to planetbethesda.com to check it out. We're expecting to host an in-person event in April for Earth Day in Bethesda, Maryland, which has been the home of Farm for its 45 years, celebrating the community, celebrating just the absolute unbelievable number of incredible restaurants in the area. And again, I don't want to give away too much right now. Everything that we're sort of willing to talk about is on the website. We're going to be encouraging restaurants and partnering with PCRM and Sustainable Earth Eating to create an event, a vegan event where all the restaurants are going to showcase their best plant-based creations. And so we're hoping for a great turnout. We're hoping for a beautiful day. It's really kind of our moment to say we've done Vegan Earth Day every year. Now it's our chance to do it as an in-person event, hoping to have it be something that can happen annually. But we're excited to be starting that process right now. I do want to mention, because I forgot about mentioning this when I was talking about AAM, we were able and proud to send Vegan Evan. If you don't know Vegan Evan, you can find him online, veganevan.com. He's an 11-year-old activist, outspoken young man, very much committed again to the mission of going vegan. And we were able to send him and 2 others to COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland, to protest. Essentially, as we found out later on, most of the animal rights groups were there to some capacity, including Plant-Based Treaty, which has done just an incredible job of creating this treaty to remind the COP26 summit that they keep forgetting to mention animals in all of their emission reports and their concerns about methane and everything else they're trying to do to save the planet. They conveniently somehow managed to ignore, as Plant-Based Treaty put it, the cow in the room. So Vegan Evan and 2 others were sent to Glasgow to protest, to demonstrate, to get out there and draw attention to this. So that's on our website as well under what we do, COP26. I'm very excited about that, seeing our banner, seeing Farm's mission and brand, and seeing Farm as part of this major event in Glasgow. So hopefully somebody got someone's attention. I know that the treaty was handed to Al Gore, which is something significant enough. But really, it seems like, as Greta Thunberg said, blah, 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 there's maybe not a lot that's happening right now, but the more we mention it, the better chances we have of tying in that messaging and hopefully ultimately saving animals' lives. So that was COP26, which just happened at the beginning of this month. At the end of this month is Giving Tuesday, which there's a Giving Tuesday fundraiser right now on Facebook, which we of course would love for you to contribute to if you're able. Otherwise, you can also make a donation at that farmusa.org/2021. Maybe you'll get the cookbook if your donation is over $200. We very much appreciate every gift. I handwrite every note, very long thank you notes, because if we get $5, if we get $10, or if we get $1,000, all of those individuals are the most important individuals to me right now. Every single person who's taken the time to send us money is so meaningful to me. So thank you. If you can donate, we really appreciate it. So I think I'm about where I want to be, at 2:32, so perfect timing. I'm going to go into my celebration roast. I'm going to quickly look at the questions just to sort of make this a little bit less formal right now. I see that Jane is here. Hi, Jane. Hope you're feeling great. A lot of anonymous attendees, which is great. Does Amy Hamlin have a video showing how to prepare the celebration roast? I was going to ask her before planning to do that today, because the only thing I've ever seen is a series of PowerPoint slides. It's a bunch of photographs, so it's very useful. It's definitely, you can figure it out by watching the photos, but somebody really needs to do a video. I'm going to go to take a look at the questions after I do this demo. I'm not going to actually cook. I'm just going to show you the parts that make it happen. And then after that, we'll go deeper into the Q&A. I want to mention too, you can subscribe to our weekly e-news. It goes out every Wednesday at 10 a.m. That's farmusa.org/subscribe. Just fill it out. You can always unsubscribe if you're not happy with the content, or if you're not enjoying the newsletter. We would just love to be able to keep in touch with you. And if you ever have any ideas for our e-news, we're always open to promoting other vegan organizations and businesses. So just let us know. So celebration roast. So Thanksgiving is a week from today. Where I live in Ithaca, New York, when I see people talk about they've never met another vegan in real life, which I understand is a reality for a lot of people and depends on where you live in the country. We are very lucky here in Ithaca. At one point in time, probably the second year we were vegan, we tied into a group. At one point we were called the Vegan Ithaca Mob or something like that. So we hosted a vegan Thanksgiving, and it turned out 25 vegans showed up. So it was a potluck. Everybody brought a course that you would normally have for Thanksgiving. And we would all just share our dishes. In fact, one year, Miyoko Shinner showed up. She was at Farm Sanctuary, which is in Watkins Glen, right down the road. And she called me and she said, "Hey, I've got nothing to do tonight." And I said, "Well, your timing is unbelievable because we're having 25 people over to celebrate Thanksgiving." And she got in the car and she drove over with a lot of her vegan cheeses. So that was a really nice addition to that year. So we've hosted every year or been part of other people hosting the event, except for the last two because of COVID. But we're hoping to get back into it. This year we're going to have a very small event. We're just going to do it with our family. We're raising 2 kids vegan. My wife is vegan. And so we would normally make a celebration roast that's this big, which is what I'm going to show you, your standard colander. We're actually going to make one this big, which is going to be cute. So, of course, there are celebration roasts aplenty in the stores now between Tofurkey and Gardein and Field Roast. I know Trader Joe's has one now. I've got one in my freezer. I haven't tried yet. But you can definitely get a store-bought celebration roast. So if someone says there's nothing to put at the center of the table or it's too much work, that's not true. You can always go to the store and grab something. This particular recipe is a lot of work, but it's worth it because it's homemade and it's gluten-free and of course vegan. So we start with making cornbread. We happen to love cornbread stuffing because cornbread is gluten-free. And so we'll make a big loaf of cornbread and then let that sort of dry out a little bit overnight. So you can dice it up and then saute it with olive oil and celery and onions and whatever you like in your stuffing. You can actually now add Impossible sausage or Beyond sausage if you like sausage in your stuffing. My mom always added diced apples, which was really nice. The sweet with the savory was always nice. So make your stuffing however you want to make your stuffing because that's what you're going to put inside the celebration roast. So if you're making one this big, it's going to feed a lot of people. Well, it would feed the 20 people we would have over. And so this is actually going to take 5 blocks of firm tofu. So you open 5 blocks of firm tofu, put them in a huge bowl and just get in there and have fun. Something great for the kids to do. Just squash it up, mash it, get it all like as back to watery as possible. Just smash the tofu. At that point, I also like to add a little bit of flavoring, some herbs or garlic powder, onion powder, just something so the tofu itself has a flavor. So now you've created this bowl of tofu mousse, and you take your colander and you line it with either a thin cloth, thin kitchen napkin or cloth, or cheesecloth, which is what Amy will tell you to use. Cheesecloth is better. And so now you've lined your colander with the cloth, and you put all of that tofu in the cloth, and then you find a plate, which we happen to have a plate that fit exactly, and you lay the plate over the colander full of tofu, put a huge rock on it or whatever you have that's heavy, stick the whole thing in the refrigerator overnight in a bowl or in some other moisture collecting item. So it has to be sitting on something where it'll be able to drain, because by the end of the night, every single hole in the colander will have drained the moisture out of the tofu. And so when you're done, you take the plate off, peel back the cheesecloth, and there you have it. You have a helmet made out of a tofu helmet, which you shouldn't wear, but by all means you could if you'd like to. But it's just a thick, solid, round shape of tofu, and that's the start of the celebration roast. And so from there, you carefully take a big spoon and scoop out the entire insides to just leave a bowl, a tofu-shaped bowl, still keeping it in the colander. And now you'll end up having this entire shape lined with pressed tofu. And that's how you end up with this shape to make the roast, which you then stuff with your cornbread stuffing. Again, you can push down as hard as you want to really make it firm and stay in one piece. And then all of the tofu that you pulled out of the center, you just put right back on top and then smush that down. You can put the plate on it for the rest of the morning before you're ready to put it in the oven. And then the big trick the fun part, and the fun part watching Amy do it too, is to take this now 600-pound roast, put a sheet pan on it, and then flip it over. It looked easy right there, didn't it? Like, look how easy that is. But of course, this thing is like juicy and heavy. But so you flip it over, peel it off, and then you take off the cheesecloth. And so you have this beautiful shape filled with stuffing that you then baste with. If you want to use olive oil, you can. A lot of the cooking that we do, all the cooking in the Great Life Cookbook is oil-free, but you could baste it with soy sauce or wheat-free tamari. You baste it with whatever other flavorings you want. There's this wonderful, chickenless seasoning that Trader Joe's has. A lot of them have it now, but it's a vegan seasoning that gives a hint of, like a bouillon flavor, almost like a chicken flavor. So if you sprinkle that on top, you're going to end up with this roast. It's ready to go. Put it in the oven like you would any other roast. You could put, we put kale under it, potatoes around it, and just literally cook that thing like you would a traditional Thanksgiving item. I'm not even going to say it because they shouldn't be cooked. But put that in the oven, and you can baste it all day. You can put more tamari on it. By the time 4 or 5 hours passes, it's going to be, a very thick, hard outer shell that you can cut into slices and serve with gravy, which I happen to love gravy. So I make a mushroom gravy for that. The mashed potatoes are just the traditional recipe. Whenever someone would ask me, how do you make such and such vegan? I will tell them, we'll just Google a recipe. It doesn't even have to be a vegan recipe. Whatever recipe you can find can be veganized. So with potatoes, for example, you just use your plant-based milks. Obviously, the ones that are unsweetened are better. Plant-based milk, earth balanced butter or Miyoko's butter, a salt, a little pepper, just mash all that up in your cooked potatoes. Mashed potatoes are super simple. Green bean casserole is very easy. The cream that I make for the green bean casserole is cashew based. So you soak cashews, put them in your Vitamix or high-speed blender until it becomes a creamy sauce. You can add nutritional yeast, a lot of other spices, and you end up with a cheesy, almost gravy-ish sauce for your green beans. I'm getting hungry just thinking about all of this. So any of the sides that you've made, cranberry sauce, of course, all of these are ready to be vegan. They were born to be vegan. So if you make this celebration roast and just sort of work from the inside out, you'll definitely have a great Thanksgiving this year, which again is on Thursday. So I hope this has helped some of you, inspired some of you to give it a try to make a celebration roast. I tried to find, the actual recipe from Amy before this session, just so I could link to it in the session, but I couldn't. So if anyone else finds it, let us know. And someone should make a video about this. I went to a cooking show or demo that she and this other woman who live in Ithaca, who has a farm that we get our vegetables from. They did an entire meal for everyone while we were there. And it was just incredible to watch her cook between the gravy and all of the sides and the celebration roast. So please enjoy your Thanksgiving. If you need more inspiration, more recipes, more ideas, go to compassionateholidays.com. We try to represent, at least mention every holiday during this sort of end of year holiday season and tie in recipes to each whenever possible. And just because she's here, I should probably show you our dog, Lexi. You want to be on Zoom? Well, she doesn't want to come up, which is good because we're trying to teach her not to do that. But she's a very, very sweet dog. And then I don't know if the cat jumped up on the shelf behind me, but he's kind of known for doing that. So please subscribe to our e-news, farmusa.org/subscribe. Please, if you can, donate for our end of year fundraising, which is starting this week, farmusa.org/2021. I am going to be on Jane Velez Mitchell's Jane Unchained on November 29th. I'll just take questions from Jane. I love and know her well and excited to have someone to talk to. I really do a lot better when I've got someone to talk to, which is a great segue to the Q&A section. So I think I'm exactly at 2:44. So let me see if I can talk about any of your questions. What can we do about pet foods? We, feed our dog vegan food. There's VDog that's I think out of California, wonderful company. There's also another company here that we buy vegan dog food for our dogs. Cats can't be vegan, but dogs thrive as humans do on vegan diet. Yeah, it's really tough when you are vegan and you have animals in your house to fully go all in with avoiding having to support animal agriculture in that way. So as you can, when you can, feed your animals vegan food. Let's see. Yeah, so Jane, who actually went to COP26, asked me what my perspective on the results of COP26 and their climate change results, as well as the coverage of their carbon related conference menu offerings. So they were, understandably criticized for creating menus that showed the carbon footprint of what someone was eating or ordering. But of course, they were also serving a lot of meat. And so while the numbers were there, the proof was there, they were like literally showing you the global environmental impact of your meal, they were still offering it. So it really is a major disconnect with a climate summit of this size to not 100% serve plant-based. The messaging there is much stronger than, oh, this salmon, maybe whatever number versus beef or something. Those kinds of events definitely need to be 100% plant-based. And if you do a search now for COP26, you're going to see a lot of those headlines. And you're going to see a lot of these reports and a lot of this output from the summit talking about, as I said, things like methane without mentioning what the number one contributor of methane is, or contributor to the climate crisis. And it's really incredible how they just keep just ignoring it, and it's a shame. How does it? I'm reading through some of these. Yeah, how could plant-based treaty become a larger part of farms' organized outreach efforts? A great question. Plant-based treaty was started by Nita from the SAVE movement. I'm not sure if you're familiar, and there's someone else, I'm sorry, I forget who the other person was that started with Anita. I just happen to know Anita. The SAVE movement is just an incredible organization started in Toronto, and it highlights vigils at slaughterhouses, and it's become a global organization. And so they started this plant-based treaty sort of as an offshoot, but again on the same mission, to say, if we are going to go to COP26, let's go there with a treaty. And so they had lots of signatures, they had a ton of support. They supported us there. There's a few photos on our website of our banners alongside their gigantic inflatable cow. So yeah, I would love to be working more closely with Plant-Based Treaty. They were incredible hosts to us as far as offering support before we had sent our delegates over there. So I'm very, very much in support of Plant-Based Treaty and SAVE movement. Lexi is a vegan dog. And is farm hiring now or in the future? So yes, Alyssa, there's you can always send us an email, info@farmusa.org, if you have interest in working for farm, or if you have interest in volunteering for farm. We're always open to keeping resumes on file, letting people know when there are opportunities to work with farm or any of our sort of offshoot projects. We right now don't have a specific job opening, but we're always looking to align ourselves with people who are committed to the movement, who are committed to animal rights. We would very much love to stay in touch with you. This Planet Bethesda event, if you happen to live in the Bethesda area, we'll be definitely looking for some volunteers, paid volunteers, people who can help out with this. We're excited about that. I want to do the book giveaway really quick, so I won't forget about that. So the way that's going to work is the first person who wants the book. I don't know if you have the book. If you do, thank you. If you don't and you want it, here's your opportunity. In the chat box, get ready, The first person to type, I want the book, gets the book. Hi, Maynard. I'm glad to see Maynard Clark is here. Thank you for tuning in. Anyone who doesn't work at farm. Maybe I need to be clear. All right, Jane gets the book. Congratulations, Jane. Shamira is too funny. She has worked for farm for a very long time. If you attended the conference in the past, Shamira is the one who took care of all the food, walking around with the cart and the sneakers with the springs in them. She happens to be in London right now, so she's still working for farm 6 hours, 5 hours in the future. She's wonderful. She manages our Ed Letters program and just an incredible asset for farm. Oh, Cheryl was the first. Okay, sorry about that. Well, you know what? Whoever I said you got it, you'll get one too. So don't worry about it. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I'm ending a little bit early. I want to remind you of a few things that are coming up. December 7th, the Beyond Investing event. November 29th, I'm going to be on Jane Unchained, which is Jane Velez Mitchell. We're hoping to, or planning to, and pulling together the possibility of an in-person event in April in Bethesda, Maryland for Earth Day. And that's kind of it for now. I really appreciate everyone who tuned in. I can see Chris Day is tuned in. She's in Costa Rica, happens to be my sister. If you're looking for a place to stay, vegan place to stay in Costa Rica, by all means, check that out. She and her husband built a beautiful house overlooking a lake, which I was going to say Lake Arundel, but I think that's from Frozen. So thank you all for tuning in. I will end the session a little bit early unless anyone has any last questions. Please check out farmusa.org for all of, again, what I talked about today. You can click on what we do, and everything I've mentioned is under what we do, whether it's a program or a special project. Hi, Danny. Thank you so much. Danny is a board member for Bite Size Vegan. Emily is a great friend of farm. We love her, and her work is absolutely incredible. If you want to check out bitesizevegan.com, please do. I say it as if I'm hoping all of you know how incredibly talented and famous and amazing she is. And she just said, thank you, Eric. So you're very welcome, Emily. We love you. Again, if you'd like to get a copy of this, you could buy one for a lot less than $200. I'm sure Priscilla and Lewis would love that. Or you can make a donation to farm and we'll send you a copy. So thank you all. I feel the love. I really appreciate all of you. Stay in touch. You can reach me at eric@farmusa.org if you want to stay in touch or chat further. I'm here for you. Thank you for the questions. Thanks for tuning in.